the diary ends with hope for the future. It does. The film ends with a hope for the future. But what so many people don't realize is that the aftermath of liberation was not a happy one. Your free go home didn't quite resonate when there was no home and the people who were there put you into that camp. So Lya, can you talk a little bit about what the experience was post-war for you?
Yes. My experience during the war, during my hiding time.
I think after the war, after liberation.
No, I was just going to say that during my hiding time, I was in a peaceful home and people were kind. There's good and there's bad Dutch people, as we all know. I happened to land with the right people. When liberation came, of course, everybody is very happy, and the flags came out, and the orange was all over the street, and we could finally go out on the street, which I had not been allowed on the street for over 2 years. And then when the elation waned, I thought, okay, I'll wait for my parents to come. And I had no clue. I was 9 at the time. I had no clue what had happened with anybody. So I'm waiting and waiting, and then I thought, gee, now what's going to happen? Then after several months, my one surviving uncle discovered where I was and discovered where my sister was. And that was the beginning of having had 5 sets of parents before I was 10 years old. So I then finally, when I landed with my uncle and aunt, no adoption was available because on the outside chance that somebody might return. But in the meantime, I went from my hiding place to my sister's hiding parents, which we were liberated, but I didn't want to be separated from her any longer. And then we went to my uncle and aunt, and then we went to Denmark for 9 months to recuperate, and then we went back to my uncle and aunt. And I can only tell you it was very difficult to be alive after the Holocaust.
I mean, you met Mr. Frank, Otto Frank, 14 years after liberation. I'm sure he was still in a state of loss from his family.
I met him
all his life.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, all his life, I'm sure. It must.
Yeah.
I only met him very, very shortly while I was in the hospital, and he came to visit someone. And indeed, he was tall and very handsome, very German-looking, actually.
Very kind.
And he just said hello, and I said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm Otto Frank." And okay. But that was in probably 52.